Hey, hello, everybody. It's Chet Zar. This is another episode of the Dark Art Society podcast. Listen to my dog snoring. She's really out. That's baby girl. That's the last dog standing. It's the last one left. Anyway, so welcome to another episode. Oh, I forgot my pop screen. God, I'm all screwed up today. Okay, there we go. Today I interview the sibling of Britton, Rachel Britton. I'm going to say Britton the way I would say it, which is Britton, but it really should be Britton. Anyway. This is a great interview. Really interesting, really fun. The second non-binary artist we've had on the podcast, and it's interesting learning about that and listening to me fuck up their pronouns once again. But hey, I'm learning. Okay, so that's coming up. Excellent interview. And let's see what's going on here with me. A lot is going on. As I said last week, the dystopia book's completely out of my hands. The wire transfer went through 2 days ago, which is great. So they're on it. I should get. I left my air conditioner on too. Sorry about that. I came in here and I was like, it takes me so long to edit these podcasts and post them and everything. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this in an hour. I'm going to record the intro. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to get the promo card done, post everything, the description in 1 hour. So I'm timing myself. And because of that, I am totally more unprepared than usual. Anyway, so I've mainly just been painting for my show, my Chaos show. It's called Chaos at Copro Gallery, October 9th. And I'm finally starting to finish some pieces. I hit the 6 weeks until the show. And that means I have 4 weeks to paint, 4 weeks left to paint. And this dog is distracting me with her snores. Yeah. 4 weeks. I have 4 weeks to paint, really, because the show's in 6 weeks, and you got to allow at least 2 weeks for framing, because once they get framed, they got to get photographed professionally. Then they go to the framer, and then when I get them from the framer, I have to add all the frame corners on. So what's probably going to happen is, hopefully, I'll finish painting everything in 4 weeks, and there's 15 or so paintings. Some of them, 24 by 36, which is kind of big for me. And most of them are 16 by 20, and then there's a few 11 by 14s, and those ones are just about done. You can see the progress of all of them on my Patreon if you want to join for only $1. That's the entry point. Although I offer a lot of really cool things at the higher levels. But that's patreon.com/Chet Zar. I've been posting every day, usually in the middle of the night, because that's when I get done painting. All the updates. Pretty cool to watch it all happen, I think. So anyway, what'll probably happen is I'll finish the paintings in 4 weeks, and then during that 2 week period while the framing's happening, I will sculpt the frame corner, send it out to get molded, which would take a couple days, get it back, cast a bunch of frame corners for so that's the first week. And then when I get the frames back on the 5th week, because it'll probably only take my framer a week to frame them, the week the show is set up, I will put all the corners on and then drop them off at the gallery. So I'll just barely make it. Anyway, it's crazy. So that's what's going on with me. Okay. I think that's it. Isn't that enough? Yeah. So, okay. Let's get on with let's get on with the new subscribers. Now, if you'd like to, actually, I want to say something. First off, if you want to join the Dark Art Society, the Dark Art Society, and support the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/Dark Art Society, and you can join for as little as $1 a month, and you can cancel anytime. So you could just join for $1 for 1 month. That's like 25 cents an episode, if you want to look at it that way. But you get all kinds of other stuff, like you get to become a part of the community in that Facebook group, and you get a profile on the website. But I wanted to say something about the Dark Art Society, because I've heard from quite a few people now, like people are really into being in the Dark Art Society, and it's awesome. It's amazing. And it's really just flourishing and growing, and growing all the time. And I know a lot of people are trying to get people they know into the Dark Art Society and be like, hey, you should join this thing. And I've heard from some people that they know people that would do love the Dark Art Society, but they don't want to be a part of a group. Like they want to do it on their own. They want to be alone. And I totally get that, because I'm the same way. I'm very much like a go it alone kind of guy. I've always been that way. But the thing is, the Dark Art Society is not about that. It's not about like, I don't need this group. I am already good on my own. I don't need this for my own benefit. It's not about that. I don't need this. I don't need to be in this group. I don't need to be doing this podcast. I don't make that much money from it. It's like, it's not, if it was just a money thing, I would definitely not be doing it, because I could make, the time I spend doing this podcast, I could be making way more money painting studies and selling stuff. So it's not about that. Joining the Dark Art Society is, it's about the community. It's about creating a community and supporting each other and connecting with other people in the scene. It's also about helping other artists that maybe aren't in a position that you're in, and inspiring them, sharing information, just helping to cultivate the dark art movement, So I would implore people that haven't joined, that maybe have that same mindset that, like I said, I'm the same way, so I can't get down on anybody for it. But think about it in terms of building a community and building dark art as a movement up and supporting it in that way. So in that way, you would benefit in the long run, because you're elevating the whole scene, or the movement, the art movement that is dark art. But really, it's like, why wouldn't you want to connect with other people that are doing something in the same vein as you, artists that are on the margins, and really help to create create a space for us in the art world, and support it, and be a part of that. I just think it's exciting. Like I said, and it's like the $1 to get into the Patreon is really a formality, just to keep people, opportunists out, or assholes or trolls. It's like $1 is not gonna make or break anybody, or me anyway. Not getting $1 or not getting $10 from 10 people coming in. It's not about that. It's like it's an entry. It's like an entry fee, just to help cover the costs, and to also keep out people that aren't serious about it. And still, this podcast is just free for everybody. So anyway, that's my thing. If you don't want to join, that's totally cool. But I just feel like it's a really missed opportunity to connect with other artists that probably have your same issues and same desires, or similar career paths and everything. And it's, like I said, it's a way to build your own community, and be a part of something that I think is important. So anyway, that's my spiel. I'm going to read the new subscribers here. Okay, we got a deletion. Black Gazer, thank you for supporting. Bone Loss, thank you for supporting. Mike Porter, thank you. Appreciate it. Levi Smith, thank you. And Matt Tillett, thank you for supporting. Appreciate it. It's like I said, it's not a money-making venture for me. But if I wasn't bringing in money through the Patreon, I couldn't afford to take the 4 hours it takes to do this, to do the interviews and get it all together. So you who are supporting it are making it happen. And seems like every week I get a message from somebody about how important this community is to them. So I'm very excited and happy to be able to be a part of that. Okay, I'm gonna do. Okay, I'll do Rachel. I may have done that before, as far as the synesthesia name of the week, name/word of the week. For those who don't know, I have gastroluxical synesthesia, where words have flavors, names, words, and. Rachel. I'm going to do the name Rachel this week. Rachel tastes like angel food cake. It's a very strong one. Very strong one. Okay, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this interview with the amazing Rachel Britton. Hello, Rachel.
Hello.
And Kay.
Howdy.
To stay in theme, you're both on each other's intro.
Yes.
Welcome back, Kay. How does it feel?
I didn't expect to be on Dr. Phil so early in the day, but
oh wait, great. No, that's tomorrow.
Now we did this because originally I was thinking of having you both on one episode because you're so connected. But then you both told me that your voices sound so similar, it's hard to tell you apart.
It would be tricky, I think, for listeners to distinguish.
I can tell because I've talked to you both so much. Like,
what if we cover this?
Okay, let me close my eyes. One of you say one thing and one say something else, and then I'll keep my eyes closed.
Chet's pretty cool.
Oh, you're right. It is kind of hard when you're not looking. Say something else one more time.
Hot dogs are delicious.
Hot dogs are delicious.
You couldn't even finish that.
Okay, the first one was Kay, and the second one was Rachel.
Yep.
Okay, see, I can tell.
You pass.
Just figure that people that don't know us or haven't had the opportunity to talk. We figured just people that haven't been able to talk to us one-on-one, probably, a majority of listeners to Dark Art Society probably would not be able to tell our voices apart, so we figured the intro would be cool, but let's just do separate episodes so it's easier, so...
But also... face it, if we were both on one episode, I wouldn't have gotten to talk all about
You're so mean to me.
And
it probably would have been like a 5-hour episode.
Yeah.
So.
But it's you suggested it to have two separate episodes, and I think it's better actually because you are both as much as you're so close and connected, you're also really different artists. You're really doing a different, a very different. It's interesting because you're both non-binary. You're both into dark, weird shit.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of similarities, but then your mediums are very different too.
Mm-hmm. Our works, it's different, but, at least one of ours work is good.
No, that's the other thing, too, is that you're both... No, seriously. The other thing is that you're both, as I said on the last episode, those who haven't heard, definitely listen to Kay's episode. for further context. But you're both highly developed and super talented, especially for as early on in your careers as you are. So it's true. So it's interesting. It's just, like I said, you're the complete package. Talent, super interesting, lots to talk about.
Tell me again.
Yeah, thank you for chat.
So let's get to know Rachel. We got to know Kay last time. Let's get to know Rachel.
Scram, they already listened to the 5-hour video with you. Back away. Be gone.
So when did your art journey begin? Well, first off, tell me about yourself as an artist, or tell the audience. I already know, but tell the audience about who you are as an artist and what you do.
Oh boy. Okay, so my main hustle is digital photography, doing photo shoots, Photoshop, all that good stuff. But I have a lot of different hobbies and things that I dabble in. So I make like little psychedelic phone grips with little eyeballs on them. I also play trombone. I started picking up the bass. I do drag. I feel like there may be something else in there. Oh, I like to sew too. I like to make costumes and do a bunch of shit like that. So I'm kind of a dabbler in many things, but the main hustle is digital photography and digital composite images.
So it seems like, okay, if I compare you with Kay, not that I'm comparing, but as far as...
I've had a lifetime of comparison.
It's like your real main thing is the photography. That's your main thing. Kay is like, she seems like she has more equal interest in all three of her different things. Like her fine art, her Etsy stuff, and her drag. You know what I'm saying?
Their drag.
I'm sorry. Fuck. I told myself last time I wasn't going to do it. I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh my god.
So I'm going to cut that. I'm going to cut that out. Not really. I'm going to leave it in. Their drag. It's like they have three equal things they're doing. And you know what I'm saying? And you have the focus on the main one, and your other stuff seems like it's like more of a sideline. Is that true?
Yeah, photography is like the main, that's 80% of what I'm working on.
Right.
But then when I have free time, I fuck around with playing music, and it's almost like digital photography is the main thing, but then I'm using the music, the trombone, the music and the trombone and the bass, the sewing and the drag to do this other fun hobby of mine, because I really like playing covers of heavy metal songs that I really like, that I like to learn on trombone. So
those are amazing.
Thank you.
Alice in Chains on the trombone. I mean, how could you go wrong with Alice in Chains on the trombone?
It was really fun to learn. I had a blast with that. So that's kind of like a little hobby. Is I just get into my little clown geesh, and then I learn different songs and play that, and that's kind of like an entertaining thing that I get to do. Which actually is funny, because Kay and I were up last night doing drag, and I learned Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison.
Excellent.
So that'll be posted very soon.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I like to dabble. But I did a lot of digital photography. That was the main thing until I was graduating college, and then I didn't start fucking around with sewing and playing trombone again until just the past year or two. And then drag I've been doing for a while, but I didn't really start getting good at it until recently either. But Kay, is the one that really inspired all that, because they Kay kind of showed me the ropes of makeup and sewing. Trombone was already something I knew. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I bet that was Kay's influence, the drag.
Sure was. Yeah. Okay, so I can kind of give you the backstory of my art career. In high school, I was set on being a statistician. So I was going to go to school for statistics, and Kay was going to go to art school, and we were going to split and go separate ways for college.
Interesting.
And then my senior year of high school, I took a photography class just for shits and giggles because I had dabbled in it a little bit in middle school and high school, kind of messing around on like Photo Bucket and PicMonkey and all those stupid little dinky edit things. And I really enjoyed it. So I took a high school photography class, and hate to, brag, but I was pretty talented my senior year. And so then I was like, well, fuck this math thing. I'm going to do photography instead. So then Kaylee and I last minute decided to not go separate ways, and we decided that we were going to go to the same school, which was like 30 minutes from our hometown, which is Grand Valley State University in Allendale, Michigan. Highly recommend.
Oh, shit, there's a bee in here. Fuck.
Oh, my God. And the bee is here to be interviewed as well. Welcome, B. Mr. B, please. Oh, God.
How the hell did a bee get in here? Okay. I'm just going to ignore it, I guess. Sorry.
Sure.
My wife sticks her hand in rose bushes with bees. She's like, she has no fear of bees, and they never sting her. So I'm just going to not have fear of the bee, and hopefully I'll open the window. Sorry.
Oh, my God, that's so funny. Oh, shit, there's a bee in here.
Sorry, okay, where were you at?
So then we decided to go to Grand Valley State University together, and then my freshman year of college, I was in a bunch of photo courses, and I really liked it, but I had some influences that were like, art isn't going to make you money, blah, blah, blah. You should do something that's going to make you a little bit more financially stable. And I was like, hey, that's probably smart. So my sophomore year of college, I gave up photography and was like, I'm going to keep doing this math thing because that's going to make me money, blah, blah, blah. Ended up being super depressed, failed a bunch of classes, the whole 9 yards. And I was, how do I say this nicely? I was doing a lot of partying, but not like good partying, like the bad, lonesome, sorrow, weeping in bed kind of drug use, that type of shit.
Okay.
It wasn't great. Hence why I failed a bunch of classes. So,
was this? Do you think this was because you were you gave up on your photography? Is that part of it?
I really do think that's what it is. Yeah. Because I was really good at math and I did enjoy it. But it was, when you just know you don't fit in a certain thing. It's like I was like, I'm here, I'm in these math courses, but I just don't feel like I'm a part of, like it just didn't feel right. So when all that shit went down, I almost dropped out of school, but Kay started doing drag with our roommate at that time. And then over the summer after our sophomore year, Kay was doing drag with our roommate pretty frequently, and that's when I picked up my camera again because I started photographing them doing drag. And so we'd go on campus at like midnight and just like fuck around and take photos, like just dink around really late at night, and it was really fun. And over that summer I was like, okay, I'm going to switch back to photography, and I never looked back.
Cool.
So yeah.
So how did you? Were you creative as a kid? How did that go between you and Kay with art making as children?
I feel like we did a lot of different artsy fartsy things. I feel like I know I got a lot of awards in like kindergarten and third grade and shit for like best artist in the class, like shit like that. So yeah, I feel like we were always pretty creative, and I was always an interesting tidbit was everybody always said that I had good eyes for things. So like if someone lost something, I always found it, or like if someone...
That's how my youngest granddaughter is. She notices everything. She always sees these details that nobody else sees.
She might be a photographer then.
She might.
Yeah, I remember that distinctly, just always people being like, if someone lost something, I was always able to find it, or yeah, I always noticed details that other people didn't notice. So that was always quite interesting.
So was there you were both creative as children?
Yeah.
And that was just something you were always doing?
I think so. Kay, I know this is my interview, but Kay's right over there. Were there any...
We need you, Kay.
Yeah, send back up.
Yeah.
Can you hear them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
We always dabbled in, kind of a little bit of everything. In Tennessee, where we grew up, we would always play with, we would do, painting and drawing and stuff, but then with one of our older sisters, we would always do, home movies, and we would direct movies and stuff.
Yeah!
And then I told Chet the other day about how we used to make, fairy playhouses, on the playground and shit.
Oh my god. Oh, did you tell Chet about how you were doing the tattoo thing?
No.
Oh my god.
And then we did... for a while, we asked our mom for some fabric glue and stuff, and we started putting patches and making outfits and stuff.
That's right.
We wanted to be fashion designers for a while, so we started gluing things to skirts and blah blah blah. So.
Oh yeah, we played a lot of dress up when we were younger too, and what was actually really funny is that whenever we would do dress up, I would always be the boy who was gonna save the princess and shit. So it was funny that I ended up being a drag king. My name whenever I would play dress up as a kid was always Jack or James. I don't know why, but that's why my drag name is Jacked Up.
Because that's so cool.
Yeah, so I forgot about all that shit. Damn. Yeah. We did a lot of creative stuff when we were younger. Yeah.
So it sounds like there was. This is similar to when I was a kid as well. It was making movies. I was always drawing, always. But I made movies. I used to make movies. I used to make haunted houses in my bedroom. All kinds of stuff like that.
It's so cool. It's so cool to see how you think back on those younger influences and you're like, damn, how did I not see where my path was headed,
Right, yeah. I knew from first grade though that I was an artist. I was had the plan. I knew it.
Cool.
But I had total support from my mother and stuff too. Everyone was very supportive, so that might have played into it. I just knew though. So yeah, okay, this makes sense. So what's your perspective on the competition between you two as children? Was there a competition with the creativity, or you were just playing maybe?
I don't think there was really any competition. Yeah, I feel like we were just kind of free to explore and dress up and do whatever different things that we wanted to do.
Because you don't seem competitive at all now to me, from what I know. You're very supportive of each other, which is amazing.
Yeah, because we both have. I think it helps because we both dabble in completely different. Minus drag and stuff. We kind of dabble in different mediums, so I think that helps. Otherwise, I feel like we might be a little competitive. But in regards to competition, when it comes to drag, Kaylee blows me out of the water. They're way better than I am, and I will never have their skills there. But Kaylee is so good at drag. Yeah. I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
Definitely, they are amazing. I'm sorry, because she. I was just gonna say, I'm sorry I messed your pronoun up, Kay, and I almost said, "Is she there?" It's like I'm telling you, every time if I talk to my wife about you both, I always say they. I never use it's like I'm always conscious of the pronoun. It's like hard to get used to. It's like if you've never done it your whole life. So, sorry, Kay.
Nope, you're totally fine. It's an adjustment. I totally get it. So no worries.
It's the fact that you're actually like correcting yourself right when you do it.
That's the only way too to make it stick, I think. But I don't want to make anyone feel bad, or I've got no issue with it. It's just getting used to doing it because it's new is all, so.
Sorry, I was gonna.
I was just gonna say I do stupid shit constantly every day of my life. I'm always making mistakes.
That makes two of us, Chet. Well, it's interesting because I've kind of gone back and forth with pronouns for a while, and I recently came out because I wanted to go by they them for a while, and then I was like, fuck that, I'll just go by she her, and then went back and forth. But now I think I'm totally comfortable with people calling me she, he, they, like any pronouns, and I think I'm starting to appreciate the variety of pronouns that I get. So
interesting.
Yeah, so I definitely, if you can use whatever pronouns you want for me, I don't really care.
It's like I don't think of either of you as she's, though. That's the funny thing. It's just like an automatic program thing. I think of you as theys. I think of you as non-binary because I met you. I first encountered you both as non-binary, and I never saw you as anything other than that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like it's not like I didn't know you before I knew you before you came out or whatever. So It's like I always think of you. I never think of you as she's. I always think of you as theys. So it's just like I said, it's just societal programming. I'm overcoming.
I totally get it. Yeah. Well, yeah, we said last week, even I fuck up Kay's pronouns every once in a while. I fuck up my own, or it's I mean, yeah, it's just all, you have to unlearn it, you have to unpack it. So
Right. It's another, that's another good aspect to that in a way, because in really
loud.
And
Kay's cleaning their desk, and so I keep hearing their little makeup brushes and clambering things. Yeah, be gone.
Sorry.
I was just going to say it's another kind of interesting aspect to that is the whole, I'm really into Eastern philosophy and stuff and Zen philosophy, and it's like, the whole Zen koan idea is like what's the sound of one hand clapping? It's kind of designed to short circuit your brain so that you just like go what, and then your thinking stops, because Zen Buddhism and Zen meditation is all about emptying your mind, being in the moment, and stopping the chatter in your mind. And these Zen koans are kind of designed to like stop you in your tracks and make you go whoa, and like kind of shut down in a positive way as a means to becoming more spiritually connected or whatever. And the pronoun thing does that. It does. It makes you stop, and it's like it makes you stop and just it takes you out of your normal everyday conditioning, which is the same as the Zen koan thing and Zen Buddhism. It's an interesting parallel. It's like it's just one of those things that nobody's used to, or not a lot of people aren't used to, or mainstream people aren't used to, and so it wakes you up. It like pulls you out of your stupor, and you have to think about it. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it makes you. Yeah, you have to unpack these years of
lifetime of programming.
Yeah. It's quite interesting.
And that's the whole magic thing as well, is like it's all about deprogramming. So is the Eastern philosophy. It's about deprogramming. It's like 99% of what we're doing every day is just programmed. We're not even thinking about it. We're just zombies. And it's like all of those spiritual practices are designed to wake you up out of your stupor. So you non-binary folks are part of that process of waking everyone out. Oh, I'm serious. Waking everybody up out of their stupor. These things happen for a reason in nature, I believe, It's like people have a purpose, you know, and it's I don't know, it's kind of just the way I look at things, but I have a different perspective than most. But anyway, okay, now let's talk about your artwork. Let's talk about your photography, because I was very struck by your photography. It was so excellent. I was like, because you, again, full disclosure, you're on the mentorship program with me, and I just was like, the same with Kay as well. It's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna be helping you with like marketing and career advice, because I don't see anywhere you can improve on your artwork. Is like, it's there already. You don't have to like develop it further, or you don't need your skills developed, like fully formed, as I said before. So talk about your artwork. I love it. I love your photography. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So dark.
Well, so how Kay has, like, they've got these different, like, mediums that they work in, like, equally. I have kind of these different series that I work in. So, like, one would be my dysmorphia series. One would be my self-portraits, which I call my infliction series. Mm. And then I have, like, my main hustle, which is headshots and portraits of people.
And those are more, they're less twisted, right?
Yeah, those are
very colorful and
colorful and bubbly and cute and more like playful, kind of like childlike. Like, I like to incorporate, you know, fucking bubbles and cotton candy and stuff like that. So yeah, those are more colorful and fun. And then I also shoot Polaroids of people doing like BDSM play and stuff like that. So I kind of have all these different, like,
opposite ends of the spectrum.
yeah. So it's nice because I like not just focusing on one style and one what am I looking?
One theme?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, one theme. I like having my really dark, twisted shit, and then I have the really cute, fun stuff, and then everything in between. So, probably the most important work that I'm doing right now is my dysmorphia series, which I've been working on since my senior thesis in college. That's when I started that project. So initially, that was a body of work that I started because I had to choose something to do for my senior thesis, but I was struggling a lot with body dysmorphic disorder, and so it was a very personal thing that I was going through.
Explain what body dysmorphic disorder is for.
Well, Chet, now that you've asked, it is a
just to be clear.
Yeah. It's a preoccupation with real or imagined flaws with the physical body that produces obsessive behaviors such as hair pulling, skin picking, looking in mirrors often, or
bulimia, anorexia. Those things can come from that too, as well, right?
Yeah, it's all totally relative. So I was kind of. I don't know how I had learned about body dysmorphia. I was looking into, so there's like gender dysphoria, and when I was looking up the meaning of gender dysphoria or something, it was like not to be confused with body dysmorphia. And I was like, well, what is that? So then I looked into that, and I was like, oh my God, that's something that I am experiencing, and that's what I need to make my senior thesis project about. So I started it then, and basically it was interesting because when I initiated that series, it was mainly me photographing or modeling in that work. So I liked to photograph in different spaces like basements or crawl spaces, anything with a lot of clutter, because that was to me that mimicked like the overwhelming thoughts and behaviors that I was experiencing. And then, sorry, my phone just went off.
No problem.
I'm trying to think.
Oh, let me ask you real quick though, was that a conscious decision when you were designing the work, or was that something that kind of developed out of the work? The idea of tight spaces to represent the clutter of your behavior and mind and stuff surrounding that.
I feel like it kind of developed after I started it.
Right.
You know, I started exploring like different lighting techniques and how I could make this work. And yeah, after making a couple composites, I was like, hey, I like the colorful shit, I like the basements and blah, 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 and then started messing around with that. So I made 7 composites for my senior thesis, and also if anybody who's listening doesn't know what a composite is, it's one image that's made up of like bits and pieces of multiple images. So after making this work, I realized, hey, I like to make composites because I'm a triplet, and so that like it's also mimicking this life experience that I have, being one of multiples.
All right.
So yeah, it's all quite interesting. But then I stopped working on dysmorphia after I graduated college for like a year. That would have been in 2019 because I was trying to find a job and stuff like that, so I wasn't making a lot of fine art work. But then I picked it back up last year because I was like, hey, this is my calling. I really need to focus on this. And then I had an art show in Grand Rapids last fall, and so that was a big motivator for me to keep working on that series. And I also had started like meeting a lot of people in the kink and fetish community. So I was like, hey, all these weird accessories that people are using, like, or all this weird furniture and shit, like, could totally make for these really cool digital composites. So I started meeting a bunch of people on FetLife and connecting with friends and whatnot, and finding different models. So the second phase of the series started in 2020, and that phase it was incorporating a lot more accessories like suction cups or I don't know, like, you know, stocks, like the medieval stocks, like one with that, just different BDSM tools, and that's kind of where this work is headed. I'm just going to continue using different kink and fetish accessories and furniture to keep distorting the body. So it started as an exploration of just body dysmorphic disorder, but now it's like I'm exploring this relationship between BDSM and body dysmorphia.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I'm still trying to like figure out what it all means and whatnot, but it's definitely a fun exploration because I really like distortion. I like distorting the body. I like altering bodies and putting them together and making weird shit. So
yeah, it's I mean that's the I love that about the art making process, is that you can, you know, it's like it's an open door to your psychology and yourself, and it's like you can kind of figure, or your artwork helps you to figure out what you're going through. Again, we're talking about that waking up out of the sleep state and you know, and making these things conscious, and it's like the art making process is like to me is sort of like you're creating a puzzle. It's almost it's like you create these puzzles, and then you solve the puzzles, and then you start to understand like yourself when you solve the puzzles. Yeah. It's like each piece is a puzzle in its own right, and then when you have like a whole body, that's like a larger puzzle that points to who you are as a person, kind of. And then you have to figure that out too. It's a trip.
Yeah, because then like you look at the work and you're like, okay, I totally can see this person. Like I I can visually understand what this person is like based on the things that they make, and
Right.
a lot of the work that I make is relative to mental health, of course. So I wouldn't say that's like the forefront of my work, but it definitely plays a role there. So, like, anytime if I'm pissed off or whatever, anything that's like inhibiting me from living life peacefully, basically, is when I'll turn around and be like, okay, I need to make something from this. I need to channel this negative energy into making something, and that's normally when I make really twisted work.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's when I make my really like fucked up self-portraits. So that's kind of, the self-portraits are really fun because self-portraits, I've been doing that the entire time. That's what I started doing when I was fucking around in like middle school.
That's, you know what, I never put two and two together that you're both also doing self-portraits.
Oh yeah,
that's interesting. Wow, what a trip.
Yeah,
what a trip.
There's another layer that's really fascinating because it's like we're twins, so we're identical, quote unquote. We're identical, but we're using different mediums, but making self-portraits. So it's like we're both. It's almost like we're making portraits, kind of each other, but
it's so weird.
But we're using different mediums to do that. Because Kay and I, excuse me, we're both really interested in like dual existence and transformation and the many different things that you can become. That's what I really like about BDSM and all the different like leather hoods and shit. Because it's like there are just so many different characters that you can turn into, and that's normally what I'm exploring when I make those self-portraits, is like what different people or settings or inhuman things can I turn myself into but still be, you know, a human day to day. It's I don't know, it's just really interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so curious as to the BDSM thing is like kind of fascinating to me because I know we've talked about this before in the mentorship thing. It's like I'm not into it myself. It's but it's like visually, it's like some of the stuff just looks amazing. It's
like a whole other world.
Yeah,
you know?
it's really dark. It's very dark art. You know, it's just, you know, personally, I'm such a modest person. When it comes to, you know, my sexuality, it's like, that's a private thing for me. I'm not into putting it in my art or anything. I've just always been like that. It's like, to me, it is interesting on its own, even aside from the sexual aspect of it. And what is fascinating is the sexual aspect of it. It's like, how does that tie into? It's that weird, the pleasure pain thing and the domination submission thing. It's like it seems to me like it's somehow this like acting out of the way people are all the time.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
exactly what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, well, I mean, I can't speak for
everybody. This is how the
everybody.
world works. It's like domination and submission, and, you know, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how societies work, basically. That's how animals work.
Well, yeah, so it's interesting because what drew me to BDSM was I'm trying to think back now on my life story. So I was never a really sexual person, like, in college or anything. I knew that I thought that BDSM and all these things like looked really cool, but I was like, oh, I'm not into that. That's not really my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I started photographing people in the kink and fetish community as a way for me to sort of dip my toes in and figure out what I was into, but also
with like a safe distance though, because you were doing it as art, right?
Yeah, so it was like I was able to meet people and then like learn safely from other people, like the proper procedures and whatnot. But but also simultaneously figure out what I was into. And then I started doing all these self-portraits incorporating different like BDSM hoods or making my own hoods or, you know, clipping clothespins to my face or whatever the fuck it was. And it's not necessarily an erotic thing for me. I just really like the element of transformation with these different accessories. Right. The eroticism is a totally other thing. Right. But I think what draws me to it is I'm a huge control freak. Obviously, I have a lot of control over the art I make, so there's something I'm just now realizing that like there's something about submission that's really appealing to me because it gives me a break from that really controlling, detailed aspect of myself.
Wow. So it's like a way to get outside of yourself in a way.
Yeah, and I think that's what is appealing to a lot of people is like you have your daily hobbies and habits and proper social procedures and whatnot, and then you go home or you do whatever you do this play and it's like this break from reality, you know? So I think that's really what's appealing to people.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah. It's fascinating because it's like, as with any subculture, I mean, all the subcultures I find really interesting because they come up from the people.
Yep.
They just develop on their own, and it's like such a trip that something so specific like that means there's something to it. It's just not a bunch of perverts. You know what I mean? There's something to it when a whole bunch of people just out of nowhere over the years, and it's always been there. It's like comes up and it's something that people do, and it's something that people are into, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like some corporately manufactured thing that people buy into. It's from the, you know, it's like any subculture, like, you know, punk rock or death metal or, you know, these things that kind of come from people just naturally. It's so interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because there's like, it's surprising how many people are into BDSM or like these really kinky things, but they're totally fucking normal. Like, quote unquote normal. Like, they look like your average Joe, but, you know, under their dress pants, they're fucking wearing sexy underwear. You know what I mean? Whatever their weird, cool, kinky, fetishy thing is, it's fascinating because, I mean, I'm very open about it, and I feel like I look pretty wild anyway, but it's interesting when I meet people who I'm like, I would never, ever think that you were into this crazy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is like when I see people at the dark art shows that are really into dark art, but they're totally just they don't dress the part. I think that's the coolest, is like the ones that look completely normal that are like way into dark art. It's like, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, you always, the stereotype you see on, in movies is the guy, usually it's a guy who has a high powered job, who's like, kind of an asshole, and he's screwing people over all the time and feels like he needs to be punished, so then he goes and gets punished. And it's like, I'm sure that's true, but can't be everyone. That's probably just one aspect of it, I imagine. Because then there's the people that do the punishing that are getting something else out of it as well.
Yeah, I think it's so fascinating because there's so much. There's so fucking much. There's so many things that people are into, and it's all really fucking fascinating. I think, because at first when I had learned about BDSM and shit, like, forever ago, I was just like, that's weird. Yeah, like, you know, I feel like everybody initially is like, oh, perverts, that's fucking weird, something's wrong with them, blah, blah, blah. But as I've photographed it and met people and done it myself, I think there is a lot of healing that comes with practicing BDSM, and not everybody needs it or not everybody sees it. But for me, it's been a good channel for me to relax and let go and learn a ton of stuff about myself and like unpack things that I didn't think I had an issue with or I've like never really been intimate with anybody until this year.
Hmm.
And practicing BDSM is what like initiated that. Like I was like, I really am afraid of like physical touch or being intimate, like fucking hugging people and shit. Like I couldn't figure out why, and then I was able to like unpack a bunch of stuff from my past and whatnot.
Oh wow.
And like what's really cool is being able to have control over whatever it is that you're practicing, whatever BDSM thing that you're doing. All in all, you have control. So, you know, there's a lot of healing that comes with that territory if you've experienced like sexual assault or any sort of trauma. But it doesn't have to be. I think a lot of people have this idea that like, oh, yeah, you're only kinky because you've had this fucked up happen to you. So you're mentally disturbed or whatever it is. Sometimes people have trauma that they're unpacking through BDSM, but not everybody does. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure some people are just wired that way. It's just, you know, it's that without the trauma, maybe.
Yeah, some people are just like, hey, I like tying people up. Hey, everybody's consenting. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's, you know, it's so interesting because like I said, I've never been into this sort of thing and kind of had that prejudice that you talk about in the past about it. Like sex isn't good enough. Already, I mean, it's already amazing. You don't need to. It's like gilding the lily kind of thing. But that was kind of my attitude in the past. But the more I learn about it, and then especially talking to you about it now, it's like it's so parallel to the dark art thing. It's like the sexual version of dark art in a way. Or it's like it's touching on the same thing. It's like doing the same thing for people on like maybe more in the sexual arena that dark art is doing for people in the artistic arena, where it's like a safe way to confront your trauma or just, you know, get your anger out or emotions out, your things out that people don't like to talk about or people are afraid to confront, or parts of themselves they're not comfortable with looking at. Dark art is that way in an artistic medium to do that. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. It's like the same with, you know, metal music or whatever too as well. It's like it's almost like every thing has a dark aspect to it that can be channeled properly or channeled improperly, and then it becomes like a dangerous thing if you don't let it out. Mm-hmm. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just there. I'm just philosophizing here.
Yeah. Well, I think if you don't have a channel for whatever it is that you're struggling with internally, or if you don't feel like you have a safe space to practice these things, you're gonna take it out on yourself or on someone else because you just don't know how to cope with it,
or you don't even know you have it.
Right.
And then it's just coming out in obsessive or obsessive behaviors and stuff because you don't even know why.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Art is BDSM art. Everything it's a great tool to learn about yourself and to channel or figure out these dark things and make something from it.
Yeah. Express these things in a positive way, basically.
Yeah.
Rather than in a internalized negative way. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Wow. Yeah. Gaining insights.
There we go. I'm trying to think if I have like other like comments on my photography.
Well, let me ask you some stuff about your photography. It's one of the weird things, and I think I did mention this to you before, is that when I saw your stuff, I was like, oh man, this is so similar to this idea I had that I never did, because I don't have, I'm too prudish or whatever to do it, but I thought it would be a great idea, which was to take clips of porn and using After Effects or some kind of compositing medium, like remove people's heads and arms, so you'd have these two bodies having sex with no limbs, but you do it like smoothed over, realistic, not cut off. I mean, like they never were there, and that would just be such a disturbing, weird, fucked up thing to see that it would be worth doing. And it's like you kind of are doing that. It just in still images in your photography. You're like removing limbs and adding limbs, and it's just I love it. But and it's also I like the weirdness. I like the weird hoods and masks you have. All that dark stuff is great. But why I think your work is really great is because it's like composed well. Obviously you got your composition is excellent. The color, your color is right. Everything's right about it. It's very like polished, even though it's dark and twisted. It's one thing to do disturbing photography like that, but it's also kind of cool that it's so slick and polished.
Ooh,
it's like
slick. Damn. I'm slick now.
Well, do you know Joel Peter Witkin, the photographer?
Oh,
yeah. It's like Joel Peter. Yeah, amazing. I've been into him since I first discovered him when I was like a teenager in the 80s. But you're both in the realm, in that realm of photography, which is kind of a narrow realm, which is cool. But his stuff is all like scratched up and black and white and grainy looking kind of, and old looking, and then your stuff is very like slick and modern and clean looking in a way. I don't know if clean's the right word. I mean, just like in the process, in the technique.
It's very
Polished, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he definitely was one of my main influences, but the two photographers that helped me, what am I trying to say? Had I never seen their work, I would not be making my Dysmorphia series. So it's Lucas Samaras and Victor Vargas Villaforte. I don't know how you say his last name, but Lucas Samaras, he's still making a ton of work, which is really sweet. But back in maybe the 80s, 70s or 80s, he was taking these Polaroid images of himself with all this colorful, crazy lighting. And then as the Polaroid was developed, he would take different tools and bend the emulsion and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I've done that before.
Yeah, so it's like he'd make these really like trippy, weird shapes and shit with his body, but in a manual way. So it's like kind of manual Photoshop for me. And then Victor Vargas Villaforte, I saw his work through, there's like this photo competition I entered, and he was one of the winners from a previous year, and his teratology series had all these composited human beings put together, but they had all these faces and shit, so it was really, really cool, and I was like, oh my god, that's really fucking sweet, I love this, I need to, like, it was just very inspiring.
Right. Yeah, most of the dysmorphia stuff doesn't have faces, right?
No faces. Yeah. No tattoos, no faces.
I love that about it. It makes it really disturbing.
Well, yeah, and I'm trying to, like, that's kind of one of those things that I've been trying to figure out. I don't include tattoos just as a way, like, I don't like identifying.
Yeah, that's what I would do too, if I was doing what you're doing.
Also, there are some, I would probably like to try a dysmorphia piece with someone who's got, full body tattoos. But tattoos, depending on what it is, it can be really distracting from what I'm photographing, and for that dysmorphia series, it just doesn't it just takes away from
it takes away
you know?
from the otherworldly aspect. It roots it more in reality, where I think the stuff you're doing is more like otherworldly. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like from another dimension.
Yeah.
You know, tattooing is very this. It's also very this time period. It's this, you know, this reality. You know, whereas I don't know because I don't know though. It's you know, there's other things that place it in this reality. But as far as I don't know, there's something like the figures seem like they come from somewhere else. You know, they almost don't seem like they come from here in a way. It's weird, but that's what's great about your work. It's thought provoking. It makes you think like that. You know.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, like if I included a fucking tattoo of a flower or a skull and crossbones, that's going to be saying something completely different.
Right.
You know what I mean? It totally has a contextual influence over the work. So that's why I normally don't include them. But piercings I'm okay with because they're not, unless they're really flashy or anything, like those are cool because they're just another way of altering the body. But so are tattoos, but tattoos are a little different. Also, I really like I rely very heavily on color for all of my photos, and especially for my dysmorphia series, what I like about that is, to me, it's like reflecting something that doesn't exist in our normal reality. Like it's visually reflecting like the human psyche or something. You know what I mean? So I like how you put it, like it's from another world or something.
Right, yeah.
Because I think it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like it's from another dimension. But, you know, it's like, that's what my dystopia book is. It's treating it as if it's another dimension, all the stuff I paint, you know? And really every artist is kind of doing that. Unless you're doing, I don't know, super realism or hyper realism or something like that. But but I mean,
you're making tangible like your own little world in your head.
Yeah. So it's like every artist is world building, really, particularly artists that go more surreal and or fantastic or whatever. I think the colors are. I love the colors too because they're very rich and they're just appealing. So that's what I think. That's another thing that really works for me about your work is that you've got this dark, ugly, and a lot of grotesque. Yeah. Grotesque is probably a good way to put it, but it's presented beautifully with beautiful colors. You know, so it's like all together it gives it more of like a really, I don't know. It's like appreciating an alcoholic beverage. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's got beverage. it has a complex flavor in that way. You know, it's not like super. Whereas maybe your more upbeat stuff that you do is more like it's got more sugar in it. You know, easier to take down. It's like just automatically tastes good. Whereas any of the dark stuff really is more like some kind of alcoholic drink or something where it's like a
grapefruit juice in it or something. You know, it's got something that's a little harder to. Right.
Yeah. It's got a more of a complex palette. It's not just, you know. I like that though. I like that juxtaposition.
Well, yeah. Well, earlier I realized I didn't finish my thought on, because I jump around a lot. If you haven't noticed,
I'm not noticing it.
I'm still trying to figure out like why I don't include heads in my dysmorphia series, because obviously it's like I'm just making it about the human body,
right?
But then it's like, again, Kay and I both make all these self-portraits where the face is the entire focus, so it's like I'm making one thing where the body's the focus, and then this other thing where the face is the focus.
Right.
Separate.
Well, yeah, and what's interesting is that's to put it in the context of my work, I'm all faces, almost always, exclusively. And to me, the face is the person. It's like the personality. It's like when you talk to someone, you're looking at the face, you're looking at their eyes. That, to me, represents the person, and the body to me is more like an extension of the person. It's not, even though, regardless of what the facts are,
right.
To me, the body represents like an extension of that, like a tool that the face uses in a way, because the face is like the person.
I totally get that. Like, so, that's an extension of the
main thing, which is the head. Yeah, which is the head, where the emotion is. Even though body language and all that. So, but as far as symbolically, it's like it's almost like the head is where the soul is, or the personality, or the real person. So, yeah, I wonder what that means with your series there, where there's no heads.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I'm still trying to. That's one of those themes I'm still trying to figure out. And I guess maybe it's like I don't want faces or tattoos or heads or whatever, or even hair, because it's like by cutting off heads and making it just about the body, then I feel like it makes it more relatable to like a wider audience.
Right,
because
that's true.
You see a leg or a foot and you're like, oh my god, I have that too. Right. But if you see a photo of someone's face, you're like, oh, that's not me. That's
okay.
Never me.
Okay. Okay. But let me ask you this.
Ooh, okay.
You didn't intentionally think that, right? This is more like, this was an intuitive thing. So it didn't come from an intellectual place. It's almost like we're intellectualizing it after the fact.
Yep.
And
later.
Yeah, which is, that's how I think a lot of artists approach their work. That's how I approach my work. I wonder where these tie into you being non-binary, because, so much of non-binary is, not being non-binary, I can't speak for non-binary people, but to my understanding, it's like your gender identity is how you feel, like who you really are, and your physical gender might be totally different, which was kind of represented more in the body than in necessarily in the head. And so it's like your real view is in your head, and then the body, which is not really you, is the body. And I wonder if that has something to do with anything.
The body is like your the body. I'll speak in my own experience, I guess. So my body and the way I decorate it is my way of making sense of how I feel on a daily basis. So, one day I might be a little bit more feminine, the next day, or if I do drag, that's the same thing. I might be more masculine one day, might be more feminine the next. So it's my way of making tangible, like, my gender identity that fluctuates on a day-to-day basis, which may or may not be the case for other non-binary folks. But as I'll probably say something really similar to Kay, but like with the work that I make, I'm so fascinated by transformation and dual existence because with my gender identity, I'm like very open to the fluctuations of my daily experience. So with myself, so it's like I'm making this work where I'm transforming into a bunch of different things, or transforming everyday things, aka bodies, into something else. Where am I going with that? You get I feel like I'm just rambling, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like I'm representing that the fluctuations that I experience by documenting the different characters that I become with self-portraits, but then with dysmorphia, it's like I'm transforming body parts or one person into this whole like puzzle of limbs and ligaments like coming in and out of each other.
Right.
So I don't know. It's interesting.
It is. It's just a trip. It's like it's so deep that you do get kind of lost in it. It's like talking about
What's that? I said, I don't even know what it means, you know?
Yeah. No, that's what's fun about it, though. is thinking about what it could represent, or and but that kind of vagueness is what makes it. I think that is makes it gives it broader appeal. Not that you're doing it for that reason, but more people can. It can be. That's why I like to keep things. I tend to not like art that just like tells you what to think. Like, this is the idea, and it's obvious. It's almost like art that beats you over the head with a message. I'm not really into it. It's like, I like the art that makes you go, oh, okay, because when it's vague, the viewer can put their own meaning on it, and that makes it so powerful. That makes art like super powerful, like a weird mirror to the viewer.
Well, yeah, and it's I hate looking at art where you can so clearly see what it's trying to force upon you. Mm-hmm. It's like, this has no depth, you know what I mean? Right. And it's nice when art can mean a bunch of different things to different people,
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I've said this before, but I really like that aspect of, I don't know, surrealism or weird art or whatever you want to call it, that doesn't have an obvious meaning, because it really is more inclusive, and it also is more interactive. Like, it makes the viewer becomes part of the whole process. I posted in the Dark Art Society group yesterday this short video I found of like, what is art? People talking about different artists, talking about quotes of what is art, and one quote, and this is something I've always thought, is that the part of I forget what the quote was, but basically the idea was, part of the process is the person viewing it. That's part of the art making process, and if you only make the art and you don't show it, it's like the art's not done.
Yeah.
So I love that idea that when it's not done until someone is looking at it and it's affecting them in some way. And I love it that a piece of art will draw you in and make the viewer. I got people that tell me what they think my stuff means all the time, and it's like, oh, I never thought of that. It's super cool. And that just adds to the artwork. It makes it better. It makes the artwork better, even though the artwork's finished, is what people who look at it, and that makes, that puts the viewer or collector or art appreciator like on a, like, I don't know, you have a partnership with them in a weird way, and they're contributing to your artwork.
Yeah, the viewer has everything to do with the art, definitely.
Yeah.
You can have an intention of what you think it means, but until someone else looks at it, you're not going to know how other people experience it, or what it means to them. Because I've had a lot of people, like, who have told me they've had experience with body dysmorphia, or binge eating disorder, bulimia, or whatever the case may be, and they're like, oh, like this, I like this photo that you made in a kitchen because that's that reminds me of my own experience. Like, that's a room where I experience a lot of body dysmorphia, or like, yeah, it's just interesting to hear other people's experience with your work. I love it. I love hearing what other people have to say. I love a good critique. I just love talking about art. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I said, it's part of the process of art making. That's the thing. That's the reward at the end. It's like selling it isn't the reward. That's a reward, but the main reward is when it's appreciated by people, and then then the circle becomes complete in a way,
because you can connect with people.
Yeah, and that's amazing when that's like a way of it's communicating with people.
Yeah,
bringing people together, and
you build a community, and what was I gonna say? Anyway, keep going.
I was done. We'll wait for yours. No. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
We'll just have a really long pause.
Yeah, just a blank spot. No. I do this every time. Don't worry about it. So are you feeling like? as I said before, I know you've done shows and stuff, but you both are really young and really early in your careers. I didn't feel young at your age, but now that I'm old, I'm like, they're babies. They're just starting. They're so lucky. I wish I was that age. But so it's exciting. You have your whole life ahead of you and a whole art career ahead of you, which is cool. And you got such a great start. But I was going to ask you, there's two things I wanted to ask you. One, I wanted to ask you is how you're making your money. One thing, because that's like, these are things that people who want to be artists because you're living the art life. So it's like, this is important to people who want to live the art life. But also, what do you see down the road? This is a long game. Art is a long game. I've mentioned this in the mentorships. It's like, you got to think 10 years down the line. And so, what are your plans? What are your big plans for your art? Are you just kind of following it and seeing where it takes you, or do you have like goals you see down the road, or what?
Oh boy. Okay, wait, what was the first question?
How do you make your money?
How do I
do the easy one first. How are you bringing in money with your art?
Yeah, so I do a lot of photo shoots. A lot of people hit me up for headshots or
you do like commercial photography for people. So you do work for hire for people.
Yeah, I've done product photography. There's a store. They're called Nice and Naughty. They're in Granville, but they have a couple different locations. And I've done product photos of sex toys for them, which has been, it's right up my alley. So really fun. A lot of people hit me up for headshots and I'll do senior photos, engagement photos, stuff like that. I started making merchandise per your recommendation through the mentorship.
Yes.
Shameless. I've been making a lot of merchandise, lots of apparel through my Threadless shop, zines, phone grips with little eyeballs on them, prints. So you do
freelance merchandising. That's great. Because one of the things Kay said was that you were doing the art full time before they were, and you really encouraged them to like go for it and leave the job. You're like, we can do this.
I was kind of busting excuse me. See, I keep fucking up. I was busting Kay's balls I was the nagging wife for like a couple months, I swear. Like every day they'd come home and they'd bitch about their job and I'd be like, dude, fuck your job. It's stupid. Quit. You could be chilling, making art with me 24/7. It'd be fucking great. And I was busting their balls for a really long time about it. And then they finally did it. And I was really excited about it. But yeah, I've been kind of doing the full-time photography game since I left my job. I didn't choose to leave, but I'm happy that I left because of COVID. But I've been doing that, oh my god, probably since like maybe December or November.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from last year. Mm-hmm. So it's been nice. Work has been slow. I haven't been doing a lot of photo shoots lately, but I've been doing a lot of I feel like I've made a lot of fucking work the past couple years, and now I'm in this weird incubation period where I'm making all these products, and then the next month or two in September I have a bunch of art shows, and I'm going to this big photography festival, which is a part of that GoFundMe that I sent you.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to this big photography festival, so I'm taking all this stuff that I've made and all these products and showing all these different things next month. So hopefully that will lead to new opportunities, come the fall. So
Yeah, talk about your GoFundMe real quick, too. It's funny that you both have GoFundMes, too.
I know. I thought it was really funny. So a couple weeks ago, my lighting equipment, all the capacitors on my lights popped and broke. So I was like, oh, fuck, everything I make pretty much I use my lighting equipment for. So I got those sent to the manufacturer immediately to get those fixed. So the GoFundMe I have is fundraising for helping me repair this lighting equipment so that I can get back to doing what I do best. But at the same time, it's a fundraiser to help me get to this photography festival because I need to get my work in front of as many people as possible so that I can continue. So new opportunities can be opened for me, and so I can network and keep bringing awareness to body dysmorphic disorder and many other things through my work. So, yeah.
What's the address? Or how does people search it? We'll put it in the body of the text as well, but just for people listening, is there an easy way to search it?
I don't know if you could find it on my Instagram in the link in my bio. I know that there's
What's your Instagram?
I don't know how I just say Rachbripho, but it's RACBRIPHO. So it's supposed to be Rachel Britton photo, but just shortened.
Again, we'll put that stuff in the body of the text.
Dope.
But we didn't get to your what's the long-term goals?
Oh boy.
Or do you have any? I followed my nose. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. There's not a market for this art that I'm doing. I know that this is my passion. This is what I want to do more than anything is paint these stupid monsters. And so I'm going to do it. And enough, just like they say, just like Joseph Campbell says, if you follow your bliss, then the little doors will open that lead you to your path. I just kept taking a step forward. Every time I'd see an opportunity, you go, and the path is lit up like 2 feet in front of you. You're in the dark, and the path keeps lighting up 2 feet in front of you, and you just keep following it. And then at the end of it, it's like, oh shit, it's been, 15, 20 years, and I have a book of a whole world that I'm making. I had no idea that I was world building when I started painting. And now it's like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted to do since I was 9 years old. So is that your approach, which is just kind of like seeing where it goes, or some people have like a big grand scheme at the end of it already planned out?
I've tried the whole planning thing, and I feel like every time, like with my control freakness, like every time I've been like, this is exactly what's going to happen, and this is exactly what I expect to happen, never fucking happens.
Right.
So I feel like as much as I have what I want to happen, I know it's going to be completely different. So I don't have specific goals for my art, but I do know that, like what you said, it's like, I know that this is what I have to do. I know that for a fact, so I'm just going to keep doing it, and everything will unfold the way it needs to.
That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know, really, is that this is your thing, and this is what you're going to do.
It makes me really anxious.
To not know?
Yeah, to not know. I hate that. I hate not knowing, but that's kind of also the fun, is letting it unfold and unveil itself. I guess for very specific future things that I have, I could tell you about the art shows that I have.
Sure.
So I have work. These are all my dysmorphia pieces. That's what everybody wants to display. So I have 5 pieces of work on display at the Urban Institute for Contemporary Arts in Grand Rapids until December. And that is, what was I going to say about that? Oh, I have 4 dysmorphia pieces and a video that I made for that. So
wait,
it was cool.
What video? We didn't talk about video.
Oh, I sort of dabble in making spooky videos too. I'll have to send you this video. I made it,
Excellent.
I think in March or April, and I titled it Drain. And I've kind of dabbled a little bit in video stuff, but it's just not my main focus.
Right.
So it's one video and 4 dysmorphia pieces that's on display there. And then the grand reopening celebration is September 9th, 5 to 7 p.m. I'm going to flag. I've been telling everybody this. Like, I'm going to be in full geesh at this thing because I love dressing up and going to shit. So if people want to come out and say, hey, please do, there's going to be cookies and ice cream and my little gay clown ass running around. So it's gonna be a great time. So
sounds like a great time.
Yeah, so that's one of the big things. And the Urban Institute for Contemporary Arts, they closed because of COVID and had to relocate. But the shows that they have up now are fucking phenomenal. So I'm really, really excited that I was invited to be a part of that. So that's probably the really big thing that I have. But then I have dysmorphia pieces that are going to be on display for Art Prize in Grand Rapids. That's going to be like mid to late September. And then I have 2 other art shows, I think. Oh, I've got one dysmorphia piece that's in Manifest Gallery in Cincinnati, Ohio until mid-September. And then the other one is Kay and I both got into an art show in Holland, Michigan, and it's another dysmorphia piece.
That's where my mother. That's where my mother-in-law was born.
Oh, that's
Holland,
cool.
Michigan.
Yeah. So, kind of got some work around these parts, and then I have an upcoming publication that I have is I have some erotic Polaroids that I photographed. Those are going to be in the Photodarium private calendar for 2022. So it's like a tearaway calendar, but it's all these kinky erotic Polaroids.
Oh, cool.
That's really fun. And then, the other big thing is Filter Photo Fest in Chicago. So that's at the end of September, and I'm really excited because I've never done portfolio reviews like on a large scale like that. So my other mentor, Stafford, who was my professor in college,
the mentor you're cheating on me with.
Yeah, he'd say the same thing about you.
I was first. He would say.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So
I'm the mentor mistress.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, that's so fucking funny, Chet. He's been pushing me to go to this photography festival for years, like since I was in college, but I'm really glad that I waited until now because my work is super developed now. Like I can confidently go to this festival and know that like my shit is really good, whereas in college I could have used the critique, whereas now it's more I could use the connections.
Right,
you know?
right.
So I'm really, really pumped about that, and I'm just hoping that all these shows and shit that I have going next month will open some doors for the future.
Yeah,
so I can only see a month ahead of myself.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's how it goes. That's like I said before when I first saw your work. You want to do the mentorship, and I saw your work, and I'm like, what the fuck? What am I going to tell them? It's like I've got nothing to offer creatively. It's like it's great.
Well, but you've totally helped me step up my marketing game for sure.
Good, because that's important.
Very chat.
That's
very
important. I'm glad. I was just looking this up while you were talking because this show would be perfect for you. Have you heard of the Dirty Show?
Oh, Dirty Show Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in it.
Okay, so you know about it.
Early 2020. Yeah. I don't know if they're doing it this year.
It says they've got. It's postponed, but it's postponed until after COVID. So who knows? It was originally going to be in February, but they had to postpone it. So I don't know what's going on, but. I just thought, wow, that's kind of the only well-known erotic art show I know of. So I was thinking, Rachel should apply, but you already did.
Well, yeah, the photos that I had on display there were ones that they were from the initial photos that I made for my dysmorphia series. So when it does open back up, I have all this new work that's way more kinky and erotic that would be much more fitting than the early.
Right.
So I'm eager for when that does open back up because the work I've made now is much more appropriate. So.
Right.
Yeah, but I love art shows. I fucking love art shows.
Art shows are so much fun. It's like...
They're so fun.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. It's the coolest people. Like, not cool, but I mean like cool, like nice people you want to hang around.
Yeah.
Decent people that appreciate art generally. Yeah. Then there's always the alcoholics who come for the free alcohol, because most of in California you can serve, what is it, you can't charge for alcohol, but you can give away free wine, and then you don't need a license, beer and wine license or whatever. So all these art shows have free wine and beer or free wine, and so every time there's at least one or two of these people that just come to get fucked up for free because it's free. So it's like there's always one of them. It's true. It's like kind of like you can't.
I mean, hey, if I knew that there was an event where there was going to be free LaCroix or something, I'd be like, all right, here we go. Fuck yeah, I'm going just for the fucking beverage. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I mentioned this to you also on the mentorship. It's like, I can't tell you how many connections I made going to art shows. So for artists, there's stories about Beksinski who never went to his art openings because he just didn't like being around a bunch of people. That's not the case for most of us. You gotta go, but they're also fun. But it's all about, especially on this I don't know, the level that we're all working at, which is like, we're not in blue chip galleries. We're kind of in this weird, lower level art scene in a way. Like art, I like it though, because it's like an art scene for everybody else. It's not an art scene for the 1%ers. It's an art scene for the 99%ers. It's for regular people that can afford it, and which I think that's awesome. That's where I'd rather be. But
I'm a super duper social person. I definitely thrive on meeting new people and chatting with people. So I love art shows because of that.
This is interesting and different about you. Another different thing is you're not an introvert.
I have my moments.
But you're like social, and you like to meet new people and stuff. And
yeah.
How is Kay that way, or?
I would say Kay is social, but they're a lot more introverted than I am, for sure. Like they need more of that hibernation period,
right?
And meet new people, whereas I thrive on it. And I mean, a majority of my work is people will reach out, and I'm photographing them the same day that I've met them. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
right.
I have to be
you have to be able to enjoy talking to people. Yeah, especially what you're doing, for sure. But that's interesting. Is you have two very unusual things for an artist, which is having that ability to really interact with people comfortably. Because I can do it. It's not comfortable. It's more than it used to be, but it was torture before. And you're good at math. Those are unusual for artists.
I might not be that good at math anymore now that I haven't been utilizing that skill set. Music is a very mathematical thing, so
I've always been bad at math, but I've been playing guitar and been a songwriter since 17 years old. So, I have a friend who's really good keyboard player. He's an amazing sculptor, the best sculptor in the business, but he retired. Mitch Devane, I always talk about him. But he's an excellent keyboard player, and he would always tell me it's just math. It's easy when you understand it's mathematical. And he would I remember one time he just was like explaining music to me from a mathematical perspective, and it was just like, whew, or in one ear and out the other. I was like, that's not how it works for me. It's like, for me, I just mess around. I kind of know some chords, and I mess around until I hear something I like, and then I imagine what might sound cool with the next thing, and I just keep building on it. So I don't, at the basis, I mean, the basis of every math is at the root of reality, though, you know, which is one reason I feel like I wish that I was more talented at math, because I feel like math underlies everything.
Yeah. It does. Yeah. Yeah. I like being able to, because when Kay and I were growing up, we always, well, maybe not when we were growing up, but when I decided that I was going to pursue math as my career, like, we always joked about how, okay, is it the right brain is the creative one and the left brain? So we always joked that, like, Kay was the right brain, I was the left. But now it's like, Kay's still just the right brain, but I'm left and right.
There's that competition there.
yeah, there's a competition. I get to, like, utilize both of those sides of my brain that way. So it's kind of fun.
Is Kay around?
Kay!
What?
I want to ask you both something at the same time that I forgot to ask them on the interview.
Chet's going to ask us how much money we would like for our birthday.
$1 million?
You want to ask us something in person together?
Okay. Yeah, I had a final question here, and I realized I forgot to ask you. Do you have the psychic link of twins?
Yes and no.
A magician never tells.
Yeah. You never tell our what's the phrase, the dirty little secret or whatever. A magician never reveals.
I'm just gonna keep letting you.
The magician never reveals their trick or whatever. Their secret. Their magic trick, whatever the fuck. Anyway,
come on, you don't, or you.
No,
I don't want to say, or you.
I argue that we do. I wouldn't say that we can't. You couldn't be like, oh, what am I?
But we can finish each other's sentences.
Oh my god, we will. Yeah, we can finish each other's sentences, or like we'll just look at each other and be like, oh, I know. Like,
really?
Yeah, we.
That's the psychic thing, I think.
Yeah, we.
Well, then I guess, yeah, we do.
I mean, maybe the thing is, like, it's like you've always had it, so it doesn't seem like a weird psychic thing to do to you.
Yeah.
But you finish each other's sentences. You probably know what each other's kind of thinking or feeling at the time. It just seems normal to you, maybe.
Yeah,
well, we always do that. Just reminds me, we always get people that ask us, like, what's it like being a twin? And we're like, I have no other frame of reference. I've always been a twin, so it's pretty normal to me.
But you have other siblings that you're not twins with, so you could judge it against that, right?
I was gonna say, well, if only you still had that life insurance policy out on yourself, we could figure out what it was like to not have a twin. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I guess we have the psychic thing, but it's like, I feel like in conversations when we're with someone else and someone says something weird, and I'm like, oh my god, that was fucking weird. I immediately am like, Kaylee definitely thinks the exact same thing, but we can't say it because we're in front of this person. Like, I know. And
then we'll talk about it later.
And then we'll gossip about it. Yeah, but mainly we just finish each other's sentences. Or we can just give each other that look and we're like, oh my god, I know.
I like the way that in the view, how I'm like crouched down because I'm not sitting on anything, so I just like...
Don't move. I gotta get a picture of that. Don't move. Do that again. Do that again.
Okay.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna have to post that on the Patreon.
Please.
Oh my god.
So welcome. I mean, have you had the thing where you knew something maybe I'm reaching here, but have you ever had the thing where someone was in an accident or in trouble and you kind of knew, or you had a feeling, or the
Like
thing
when
where,
was?
huh?
You mean when when the other twin was?
Yeah. Like if they were in trouble and you kind of knew, or you were thinking about them and they called, or...
Not that I can think of other than really...
No, you're usually in the back of my mind.
Okay, great.
You're normally not the first thing I think about. Just kidding.
No, I definitely... This isn't... I don't think, telekinesis? Telepathic?
Telepathic?
Probably not, but, anytime... We're just very, safe. We try to be very, safe people. So, when Rachel... first started doing the BDSM photo shoots, and Rachel would be like, okay, I'm gonna go see these people, here's their address, here's their phone number, if I'm not back in 30 minutes, call the police or something. Because
right.
and also
here's their fucking Facebook account,
yeah,
and blah blah
right,
blah.
yeah.
I'm also a very weird person, so I think I more so project, I'm it's been 5 minutes, no update, alright, what's happening? But that's not really telepathic.
right, yeah. Yeah, it's so weird because you're so similar in some ways, but you're also very different people,
Yeah.
very different personalities. How would you say, what do you say would be the main difference personality-wise between you both?
Well, Rachel looks Rachel's a Jolly Rancher, and...
Bitch, you have yellow hair!
I know. You wear rainbow bright shit all the time.
Yeah, I wear a lot of colorful stuff, and Kaylee wears black all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That
so there's a visual
stereotype of
difference.
there's that stereotype of I feel like it's usually lesbians or something. There's a stereotype that there's the goth one and then the one that's rainbow bright.
Uh-huh.
So we're twins, and that stereotype matches for us because I wear only black.
Because we look different enough where, some people have thought that we're actually a gay couple.
Yeah.
So
that's gotta be uncomfortable.
No, I think it's funny as fuck. I think it's really, really funny.
Well, it mostly happened with masks, people couldn't see the rest of our face, so we would we would go into our local market that's up the street.
I had someone, I was grabbing some pizza or whatever the fuck, and this person that knew us through social media was like, oh my god, I'm so happy that you and your partner just moved or whatever they said, or you and your partner just did that thing, and I was like, actually, they're not my romantic partner, they're my identical twin. Yeah.
I think didn't we put a poll out on Instagram?
I put a poll after that happened. It was so fucking funny. I put a poll on Instagram that was who do you think Kay is? And I put A, my partner, B, my twin,
what a great
C,
idea.
my dog, or something. Something really stupid. It was really, really funny. But a lot of people thought that we were partners. And in a sense, we are
life partners.
We are partners in a sense.
It's unusual that you are so close in adulthood and live together, and you kind of share this life. You're very close. So that's not. I think it's a real gift. It's a real amazing thing to have to be so close to a sibling like that.
Yeah.
It seems like, you always hear the stereotype twins are very close. They have this connection. They have the psychic connection. But just to be adults living together, supporting each other in this same kind of careers is kind of unusual and super cool.
Oh, it makes me very happy.
Me too.
You're I second that.
We last night telepathic. Last night we were doing drag. I know Rachel said that. And it's always surprising how long it takes.
We have this mutual understanding that it's a total pain in the ass for both of us, but at the end of it, we after we both got our makeup off and shit, we were sitting out here at 3 a.m. eating a popsicle. We both were eating popsicles, and we were just like, that was fun. But that was really fucking annoying.
We kind of know each other's personality enough because Rachel will be like, okay, I'm getting irritated. And so we know when to
to draw back,
to pull back like the silliness and the goofiness, because we're like, okay, like we're both getting a little
antsy
and irritated. We would just want to get this photographed and get it done with, you know. So we know each other's like work style, especially for drag and photo shoots. But I mean, also we're very lucky because we have, like, we talk about this all the time. We have everything we need. We have a photo studio in our apartment. We got
makeup. We've got instruments. We've got
sewing machine and fabric.
Shit to make videos. We literally have like everything. So anytime if I'm randomly like, I'm gonna randomly dabble with fucking charcoal today, Kaylee's like, great, I have it. Or if you're like, oh, I want to take a Polaroid picture of this thing, or I really wish I had like mannequin faces or something. It's like, great, we literally have everything everywhere. It's I wish we really should send you a photo of our apartment, because it's the gay room, we call it, is where
we do call it the gay room.
The gay room, and that's where the photo studio is. I'm looking at it right now.
Why don't you turn the camera?
Okay, well, I've got my hard drive plugged in. I can't. I really
send me pictures. You can send me pictures. I'll put it on the Patreon if you want to share that.
Yeah, it's like we have in the gay room, we have like this like. It's like the room is split off into little sections, so it's like there's the little music area, and then there's the backdrop setup with all the lighting equipment, and then we've got
supplies corner.
We've got props and blah blah blah. So it's really nice. But to answer your question earlier, normally whenever I'm describing Kay to someone else, I'm like, they're my twin. They're a fucking amazing drag artist, amazing fine artist. Like I guess the way, if I were ever gonna describe how we were different, I would say that Kay, I'm so sorry.
I really don't care. It's no big deal.
I'm sorry anyway. We're talking about unlearning those things.
Right.
We do that all the time.
So I would say that Kay is a little less indecisive, and normally if they're pondering...
Wait, I'm more indecisive.
You're more indecisive.
Okay.
So, like last night, Kay had a dilemma with their makeup, and the entire time I was like, Bobby, it's okay. You just have to go with the flow. Like, I have to kind of...
Rachel's my cheerleader.
I have to, like, talk Kay through whenever, like, shit doesn't happen the way that they think it's going to. Or I have to be like, well, why don't you just take this thing and do that? And Kay's like, oh, yeah, you're right. So you're a little bit more slow to make a decision.
Okay. So what is the support that Kay gives you?
Well, none.
I
really can't say. I just really wouldn't tell you. Yeah,
you're supporting the whole relationship.
Yeah, someone's got to be the beauty, and someone has to be the support system.
Well, someone has to be the breadwinner, and it's not me.
Well, it ain't me yet either. No, I was gonna say that. Wait, what were we just... Oh, indecisive. I forgot.
You have to be something like that to Rachel too, in some way. I'm sure that's how good. That's how good relationships are. You know.
I totally forgot to make this joke for my episode, but because I don't think it came up, the indecisiveness. I'm very indecisive. But my running joke is like, don't ask me to make a decision. I am non-binary and I am pansexual. It ain't happening. I can't make a decision to save my life.
I would say you inspire me a lot.
I'm just the inspiration.
Oh, for God's sake.
I think you definitely have to like lift me up and talk me through like bullshit. But you
help me when I have an issue with the sewing machine or something.
Okay, here's what I do. I buy a bunch of.
You buy shit that's never gonna get used, and then I use it. It's true, Chet. Don't let this fucking asshole over here tell you otherwise.
Oh, well, half the sewing machine, mine. Half the computer, mine.
Oh my God. Half of this interview, mine.
Yeah, I have more so where I have more supplies. This comes from our hoarding, because we were hoarders at our old apartment and got rid of like a bunch of shit when we moved in here. Anyway, We had a bunch of supplies, and I still have a bunch of supplies, but I have more like equipment things that if Rachel wants to jump onto things, I'm more so I have tangible things that Rachel can use because I can't possibly use everything.
But I guess like personality-wise, what's like the thing that you?
Yeah, that's what I was.
I feel like I'm good at like telling you and like I'm good at critiquing your work. And,
that's true.
I'm good at telling you like, hey, this is not the move for you, or like this is like, cheesy.
That looks like shit.
So that's interesting because you're more indecisive. Yeah. You're more indecisive for yourself, but you're able to be decisive with Rachel.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah. And
you're my ear for a lot of things because you literally listen to me play trombone like every fucking day. Literally, so
yeah, it hurts my ears.
Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like you're my rock. You're my the Rock, Dwayne.
Stop, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Oh my god,
is that you?
Stop. I don't know. I don't want to contribute to this relationship.
We can't on what you are for me.
Well, it seems like you are. Every time I talk to you both,
I'm comedic. I'm the comedic one.
Haley is the funny one.
I talk to you both separately with the mentorship thing, and you're both always. You never say a bad word about each other. You're very like. If you feel like, it feels to me from talking to you individually like you are the other's biggest fan. That's how it feels to me.
True.
So it's like, there's definitely a something that's working support-wise between the two of you. I just find it interesting.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, we're definitely able to, when the other person is down, the other one is able to be like, it's going to be okay, or like, this is really fucking cool, or this, this is working, but it needs to be refined a little bit more, or whatever it is.
So you each kind of step in and help the other when they need it with whatever.
Always. Like, okay, what was the case yesterday? Kaylee was making this, like, big flower.
Oh, because I sent you the picture of the, like, evil flower.
Yeah. Kay was making this big flower thing, and so I, like, every, like, hour or something, Kay would be like, hey, can you step in and help me tape this or do whatever every once in a while? And so I would do that, but then every hour or so for me, I'd be like, hey, can you help me pin this dress that I'm hemming, or can you stand in so I can get this photo in focus? So it's like whenever we have this mutual unspoken agreement that whenever the one person needs help, the other one jumps in immediately.
Yeah, that's great.
Within the next 5 minutes, regardless of what else we have going.
We have a really good way of working too, and we just said this yesterday because I was working on this. I'll put the flower thing on. It's funny.
Yeah.
I was just making it. Didn't end up working out with that. So I ended up being a carnivorous plant.
That was per my recommendation. They put on the flower thing, and I was like, it's just distracting.
Oh, yeah, let me put it on.
I was like, them out of drag, it looks really cool and fun, but when they put on the makeup, I was like, you're just taking away from the makeup. You don't want to distract from it. So,
right.
Oh my god! So this is what happens in our apartment.
I'm gonna get ready to take a picture of this. Wait. Okay, say cheese.
Wait, do you want me to put on something?
Wait.
Yes.
I'd at least get that.
This is our apartment in a nutshell.
This is our relationship in a nutshell.
That's true.
You're a big gay flower, and I'm photographing the big gay flower.
And then that happened.
And then my stand fell. That's
How did that happen?
My music stand.
Well, okay. I was saying to...
Fuck it, our apartment's modular anyway. Modular.
I was just saying to Rachel that, like, I feel like Rachel needs more help with little things. Like, it'll be, hey, can you pin this dress? Or, like, hey, can you just, like, remember this blah, blah, blah for me? Like, it's littler things more often, but then for me, it's like, hey, I need help with a big thing, but not as often.
Well, not always, because Kay helps me a lot if I'm photographing myself, or like if I'm modeling for my dysmorphia series, or
I'm the photographer.
Yeah, Kay is actually the photographer a lot of the time, so
Wow.
And I never get credit.
that's a big thing that you help me with.
Yeah.
You do help me with that a lot.
So maybe I am the support.
Well, imagine growing up and realizing you're non-binary alone. Well, how much different that would be. I'm sure that's a way you've been able to support each other, which is huge. How many people go through that alone,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I came out as non-binary first.
Yeah.
So, hence why I'm the more decisive one. I came out as non-binary in, like, it might have been my senior year of college, maybe. And
I feel like it was
after I started doing drag, that's when I started kind of questioning my gender identity, and then that helped me. That was a tool for me to figure out that I wasn't a woman, and then later on you were like, hey, that makes sense to me too.
Yeah. I think I started realizing too that, like, well, because I even said to you the other day that, like, I remember growing up and, like, always wanting to be a girl, even though we're both AFAB. Like, I wanted to be a girl, like the stereotype of a girl, but never was. And so, like, drag gave me a really great outlet to, like, do hair and makeup and blah blah blah. So, but it's interesting we were able to make our work and to talk about things like relating to being non-binary, and to, like, be able to, like, bounce it off of one another, know, and recognize when we're feeling a certain way. Because I don't know if it happened for you, but I know that after you came out, I started recognizing that, like, when people would say she, her about me, it just started feeling like a pit in my stomach. And so I don't know if that's how it was for you, how you started to realize, but I don't know.
I don't really remember.
Yeah, it is interesting we're very lucky that we were born with a support system,
right.
So we are very fortunate in that, and that, like, we want to live together, and we want to have, like, a cool creative space, and we've got, like, our entire apartment, like, front to back is just
an art studio.
Weird props and
cool art,
costumes, like, and shit everywhere.
Yeah, so we know that we can lean on each other, but we also know that, like, we both support each other's creative avenues, and we always lend each other shit, and, like, what's mine is yours, basically, in this household. So yeah,
it's kind of amazing.
We're kind of like one thing.
We are.
Right. Yeah, I have you ever thought about, not that you should do this, I'm just saying it seems like, at least for a project, you kind of do it already, but have you ever thought of making another name for you both as a unit, as an art unit, like an art partnership, even though you are always kind of crossing over and helping each other out? It would be interesting to see, like, another, not that you need another thing to focus on.
You don't need another name or whatever.
But
because we worked on the Art as a Drag series together. That was a collaboration that do you know about that? Have we ever? That's like the drag makeup stuff that Kay does.
Yeah.
That was a collaboration that we've been working on together since, like, 2016 or 2017, where, like, I photographed Kay's makeup.
Right. Yeah. I knew that.
So all my drag looks are part of the Art as a Drag series.
Okay. And that's something that both of you, the Art as a Drag series is something that you both do together. Okay. So you have that kind of.
Yeah, because I photograph it.
I got to hop onto that other thing, but it was good talking to you.
Great talking to you.
Yes, yeah. You finish up now.
Yeah. So the Art as a Drag series was, like, something that we started doing, and at first it was Kay doing makeup and I was photographing it, and that's how we were collaborating. And then I started doing drag, so I started doing makeup and Kay would photograph me, but my makeup wasn't very good, to be honest. And so now it's mainly it's just, I photograph Kay. But we did a lot of art shows for that a couple years back, which was really fun. But we were just thinking about it this weekend, and I was like, I should ask Chet about this because I was like working on sewing, and Kay was helping me, and I was helping them with shit this weekend. And I was like, what if we did something where like we make these like cohesive looks together, where like we're both sewing an outfit, we're both doing makeup that somehow relate to each other, and we're making this like walking art installation. Like we're basically just doing cohesive drag looks together. But it would be fun, but I feel like we need to do something else with it. Like,
right.
Because we have so many things that we can do. We can do video, we can do photos,
right.
We can do music, we can do outfits, drag, the whole 9 yards. It's like I want to find a way where we can combine everything together, but I'm not quite sure. We we thought about making a drag rock band. I don't remember if we ever bounced that off.
Yeah, I think you did.
That was one idea, but I feel like it's something different. So I'm not quite sure yet what it is, but I don't know. Maybe we make little films or something where we're different characters. You know what I mean?
It will reveal itself every 2 feet, like we were talking. Just keep following it. Obviously, you're on the right path. Again, you have. I'm such a fan of both of you. I really am. I'm rooting you on because I just think, like I've told Kay before, and I'm sure I've told you. It's like everything. It's all there. It's just like, I'm just watching it, waiting for it to take off. So.
Well, hopefully next month, after I have all these shows and portfolio reviews and stuff, hopefully that will reveal some more opportunities. So
it will.
It's to have something to look forward to,
Yeah, it will. You just got to keep doing. You both keep doing what you're doing. Everything's going to be great. That's all I have to say. Yeah, well, that's a good spot to end it, and we're almost at 2 hours. You got a little bit less than.
That was expected. Yeah, Kay's like, it's what I do, baby.
But yeah, it was a real pleasure. I appreciate you coming on and taking the time, and we'll put the links up to your GoFundMe and all your stuff, and I encourage everybody to check it all out and support, and yeah, it was awesome. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, Chet. What a pleasure this was.
I hope you had a good time, because I had a great time.
I did indeed. Yes, this is great.
Excellent. Okay, so we have to say goodbye to the audience, as is customary.
Okay.
So let's do it. Goodbye, audience. Well, no. You already fucked it up. You can say it separately. Okay, we could do it. We could do it in unison, in the spirit of twins. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye, audience. Oh, I.
Wait, what are we saying? Goodbye, audience.
I couldn't hear you when I talk. Your mic doesn't come in, so we have to do it separate. So I'm going to say goodbye, audience, and you're going to say
goodbye, audience.